first live video, so I'm a little nervous. But let us talk about the topic. So today's topic is, can World War III really happen? The answer is yes and no, both. Do you know how? Because if World War III happens, then countries like India, America has to jump into the war to help their ally like Ukraine or USA. I mean Ukraine and I mean Russia in the place of USA. And you know that every day the Russia is mobilizing his army to invade Ukraine. Okay, it has been 1 year against the fighting of against Russia. Ukraine is fighting, and this war is very, very dangerous. And recently some news are saying that Russia has a very big amount of explosives. So what are the reasons? So many people say there are 2 or 4 reasons, but we will talk about 2 reasons. First, he is using his reserved missiles. Reserved missile, that means missiles that he has stored. The second thing is he is getting missiles from North Korea and other countries. Okay, this means that Ukraine will become the part of Russia. Is this? But some people are saying it could happen that Russia will become the part of Ukraine. Isn't this silly? And you know that every time I listen this news that this happened to Russian army, this happened to Ukrainian army, it makes me angry. And you know that this war has been changing, making people feel dangerous and scared, and this war can any time turn into World War III. So what is the reason that it cannot happen? Because if in Russia-Ukraine war, America doesn't came and fight, then this war Russia will win, but this would not lead to World War III. Okay, and you know, not any country wants World War III. And he's using many missiles. It is using continental ballistic missiles and other missiles. Okay, this could lead to man-made ice age and many more things, like it could make radioactive the air, our surroundings, and even after some time humans wouldn't exist. Okay, and you know that this warfare would be an nuclear warfare. Okay, I'm saying nuclear warfare because every time in World War I it was chemical warfare, then there is guerrilla warfare, other types of warfare. Okay, and do you know that Russia is getting a very big loss in this fight, and his economy is going down like this. And in this war, Ukrainian people, even their grandmas, are trying to fight for their country. This means that every day many people will sacrifice their life in Ukraine to save their country. And do you know that Vladimir Putin told us that 1991 was the biggest disaster in Russian history. Do you know how? Because on that time USSR collapsed. Okay, and do you know that any time Russia could use Tsar Bomba, which is Soviet-made nuclear missile that has a range about 100 kilometers. Okay, in this range, it could give people 3-degree burns and it could even kill many people. And do you know that Russia is very, very powerful, and Ukraine is very little and has very little army and power against Russia. But with the help of America's weapons and help means economical help, and he's supporting Ukraine and many countries like Britain, Germany are giving sanctions to Russia, and it makes India very, very worried. How can I export oil from Russia? Okay, and you know that this war is very, 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 very dangerous for humankind. Albert Einstein also said that I don't know which weapons would be used in World War III, but I know which weapons would be used in World War IV. They would be sticks and stones. This means that every country will go into huge loss and everybody go back to the Stone Age. This means that the humankind would go back in his time, and even in some time the time will pause, where fighting will be paused, every party will be paused, because this could make the India and other countries and the continents and the earth stop. And do you know how? Because in this war Russia is saying that he will suspend Roscosmos, which is the space agency of Russia, and this could make the satellites of Roscosmos fall down like countries in like India, China, America, and other countries. So that in this war, Vladimir Putin is also saying this war would be also lead to space war. That means satellites would destruct other satellites, and these satellites will fall on ground and many people will die. Do you know that? That he is saying that, Vladimir Putin is saying that he will ban Roscosmos, and one very big football ground big like satellite will crash on the ground, surface of the earth, and this could make the world stop, and it will come a time this warfare could bring a very big change, and we will go back to the ice age. This would be known as man-made ice age. Do you know that this war is very harmful, and the radioactive food that we will eat will give us many diseases like cancer and many other things. In this war, from my decision, only 5% or 10% of people or 3% of people will be able to survive. Do you know that in this war, the children, grandparents, their grandparents, their parents, and their cousins, even their cousins will die. Do you know how? Because the radioactive dust in the air and the acid rain falling from the air will kill many people. And you know that this war will also lead us to World War IV. Do you know how? Do you know how? Because as you all know that World War I given us Hitler, then World War II given us World War III. Do you know how? Because World War II led to collapse in the Red Army of USSR. That led to collapsation of USSR. And do you know that this has led to the Russia-Ukraine war that could turn any time into World War III. And if World War III happens, then World War IV will also happen, because if it occupies Russia, Ukraine, and and if he starts to occupy other countries that has been a part of USSR, then it will come a time when World War IV will also happen. And you know that? I'm pretty sure that in this war, many people and many governments will crash down. And you know that this will lead to America become a very powerful superpower. This time America is also superpower and Russia is the second superpower. But Russia is the biggest stopping thing for US because anytime Russia could make it slow in the race of development, and it could make the earth very undeveloped. And you know that this war is very dangerous, and also in this warfare, from my decision, chemicals would be also used. You know that if it happens, then you know people will die. And it has been 1 year, and it has started on 2021, and it is 2022, and 2023 is coming. So it could lead to 2 years war. And you know that if it continues for 2 years, then from my decision, World War III is going to happen. And you know that in this thing only dictators will be happy because the economy will go down, and the people from parties that wanted to dictatorship will say, I am the God. I have sent it from the God to make Germany or USA or Russia a very powerful place. People will talk like this. And you know that this could lead to poverty and sickness amongst people. And you know that in this war, bunkers would be a very little space, where very little space and very big space also for people that are rich. You know that because in this war, rich people will buy bunkers, they will fill up their bunkers with luxurious things, and they will live in them. But the common people wouldn't afford them, and they will die in this war. And you know that in this war, even USA, Britain, and many other countries like China and India will also participate for my decision, because if it happens, then our country, India, will go to fight, because every time from India's freedom, Russia is helping us in the fight. Okay, and it is helping us very low. This is making our country become very low in oil. And you know that this war would be also a good thing for India. Do you know how? Because in this war he would have a very big offer from Russia. You know that offer would be that he will give modernization to Indian army equipment. I mean, he will give them the technology, and he has also said, Vladimir Putin has also said, if he exports goods to exports goods to Russia, then he will make India non-deficiency of oil. He has saying that before this Russia-Ukraine war, the oil prices were that much, and at that amount he will sell 1 barrel of oil to India. Isn't this amazing? And you know that this war can lead to high destruction and going down economies. And you know that it is also estimated that this war is very long, going longer. And you know that this World War One happened. World War One gone for 4 years. Then World War Two happened for 6 years. So from my decision, this war will go rising up. You know that it will go for 8 years from my decision. And you know that this war is very, 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 very dangerous. And you know that this war can be lead to destruction of humans and other animal species. And you know that I'm going to tell you one fact. The lives of people that exterminated in Hiroshima and Nagasaki during the tragic bombings of nuclear bombs done by USA on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that will be very, very little in front of the war that will happen in Russia-Ukraine war, nuclear war. Okay, and this war is very, 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 very destructible. And you know that from my decision, I don't want this war to happen. So what do you think? This war won't happen? From my decision, it says yes. But you all know that every war leads to extinction of any animal. Okay, so what do I mean? So in World War One, the destruction happened to economies, and it is also an animal for us. And in World War Two, also countries fell down, and their respect and their currency gone down, and currency and respect is also a pet for us. So what do you think World War III will cause? From my decision, destruction of the earth, man-made ice age, acid rains, and killing of many people, and it could lead to destruction of the whole earth. You see this globe? This is very small in front of our big world. And in World War III, this whole earth will explode. And you know that why I am so sad? Because if World War III happens and nuclear war happens, then the Russia will have a very big advantage, because he has 50% of the all nuclear weapons in the world. And you know that he has many reserved and active nuclear warheads. And you know that he is very, very, very aggressive against Ukraine. I mean Vladimir Putin. So I'm going to tell you one fact. Okay, that many people say that Vladimir Putin's mother was Ukrainian and his father was Russian. Okay, but I think this is a myth. And you know that Vladimir Putin is going to destruct the whole wide world. So I think that this war should be stopped, and we must bring peace in the world. Okay, like always Mahatma Gandhi said, peace is the way to the world's development. Okay, from my perspective. And you know that this war is very dangerous and very, 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 very bad. And this war could lead to destruction of species. And you know that it's always one concept that you all have been, that after many destructions, how does life come? So in destruction of dinosaurs, mammals known as us digged down in holes under the surface of the earth, and they stayed alive and they ate everything that they got, and then they survived and became us. And do you know that this war is very, 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 very bad, and it could reverse time. Do you know how? Because it could lead to man-made ice age. So you know that this war is very, 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 very bad, destructive, and many things are going to happen. But only one thing is special to me, that this war would be happened by Vladimir Putin. And I never thought that Russia, my favorite country, will do such a bad thing. Okay, and you know that if I want, if I want to stop this war, I didn't come into the war because I suggest them both, please be silent, quiet, and maintain the peace. Okay, so this time let us pledge that anything would happen, but we will be not going into this war, and India will also not go into this war. And you know that this war is very, 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 very mad, because in World War One, World War Two, people came that were mad. And you know that in this war, only one choice would be left from Vladimir Putin, that he will have to suicide, because his neighbor America could attack on Russia any time, because Alaska is near Russia and a water body is between. And you all know that US Navy is the strongest navy. Okay, so I think that the destruction of Russia would always be clear in this World War III. So what do you think? This war is good for humankind, or this is bad for mankind? Okay, and I always suggest you one thing: bring peace and don't be bad against people, and please be please be against the war. And it is me, Hoyank. Thank you for watching. So and I remember one more thing that I wanted to say. That is, please maintain peace in this world and always be silent. Okay, thank you to all of you.